Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to show you how to make a blog using Blocksy. Okay, so first you're going to want to make sure that you have Blocksy installed, as well as the Blocksy companion plugin. So you're going to want to go to themes and just double check that you have Blocksy installed, and if you don't, we have a video on how to install Blocksy. Okay, as you can see here, we have both Blocksy and Blocksy Child. Blocksy Child's because we were already using a starter template from a previous video. Next, you want to make sure that you have the Blocksy companion plugin installed. And here you can see it installed, and currently we're using the Pro one, the Premium, you can see, and it's currently active, so it's the same one. So let's head over to Blocksy here on the Blocksy dashboard, and go on the second tab, which is Starter Sites. And you can choose any theme that you want, but there's some categories here. And you can see that we have blog categories. And there's a bunch here that you can check out and preview. For instance, if I clicked on preview here, you can see that it takes us to a completely different site, but we can also just double check how everything functions. We can look at this one. And you can see once you hover over it, you can see the kinds of block editors that are usable for it. And this one's only for Gutenberg. This one works with Breezy and Elementor. And this one's the news one, pages. There's some categories. And some live ones. But I think we'll go with this one, this recipes one, because it seems a bit easier to use and the layout looks real nice for our purposes. So we've decided to use this. Let's go ahead and click on import, and we're going to use the Gutenberg block editor, and you can use any, and make sure you have the plugins in, as well as the import, and as well as the example content, just so it's easier for us to navigate and change things out, just so nothing's broken. So we'll wait for this to install. Okay, once that's done, we can go ahead and customize it, but first let's go ahead and view the site that we've imported, and you can see we have our domain name here. And once it loads in, you can see here that it works perfectly for us, and we have some of our original posts here, and we can add some later. I'll show you how to do that, and you can just see that it works. So let's go ahead and customize it. Let's click on Customize here. Or you can go ahead and customize it from the site itself. Let me show you how to access it from here. Just paste this in. And you can see there's this customize button here. If you click this, it takes you to the block editor. Okay, so first things first, let's change up our general options. We can select our layout here, and then we can change the width. We can make it wide or narrow, and you can see that all of the spacing on the sides, the margins basically change. Okay, and then we have our content area spacing, and you can see it doesn't really do much here because the website's already adjusted. And then we can also change the content edge spacing. And then narrow container max width, we can see, but we don't have any narrow containers here. And then a wide alignment offset. Okay, we don't really have those here on this theme enabled right now, and we probably will be able to enable them later. Next, we have our buttons here. We have our min and max heights, and then we can enable or disable hover effect here. You can see that looks pretty cute, so we'll keep that there. We can also change the colors from here if we were to refresh our site. Okay, this is probably just part of, here you have the background color, and you can change it here. This is probably because it's part of the header, and these are the buttons that we will encounter on this side, and we can probably change it to pink or like red. Okay, and then we can also change the padding and the spacing here. We can remove the borders, and we can link them all together, and then set them all to 0. And once we refresh our site, Oh, that's odd. Well, I was expecting it to remove the border, but that's probably just part of the theme. Okay, so next we also have our breadcrumbs. Let's head over to our recipes tab over here. And here, right now, this is our breadcrumb here, and you can see that we can change the separator style, and we can change the home button to home or icon, but I think text is fine. And we can also enable or disable what is shown on our breadcrumbs over here. Okay, and we can also change the design. We can change the font to something else, right? And that's fine. Next, we have form elements, but we don't have any forms here, probably except for the contact one. If there is a form here, and there really isn't. Here we have this, and we can change the font size on that. We can change the font colors, and then we can change the border color. Let's make it blue, just so it's easier for you to see, right? And then we can also change the background color, the input, and then the checkboxes and stuff. Okay, so that's really dependent on what you need. And then we also have a couple different styles here. I think this one's okay. Next, entry content. Let's head over to one of our example posts here. Probably the one with Missouri. And we can go here and change out the spacing. Okay. Next, we also have social media accounts. So here, they're installed one by one. You can see that these don't lead anywhere. But if you wanted to, if you were going to have social media, these social icons over here, all of them are here. So you'd probably have to go Control F or find and page, and you'd have to input your social media here one by one. Oops, not X, but backspace, back button, I suppose. And visitor engagement, we have, we can add Google Analytics to here and custom schema markup. And we can also enable scroll to top here. So once it's enabled, there's our scroll to top. And we can also have design options. We can change the icon to this rocket ship here. We can make the icon larger or smaller, and how offset it is from the bottom. I think that's good. And inside offset to put it inside. We can also align left and right. And we can also enable or disable it on mobile. Okay. And then the design, we can also change the color, and we can also add shadow. Okay. Okay. Oops. There you go. Enable. All right. So I'll probably have to refresh our page here for it to take effect. And we can also manage other customizations here, or options if we had a site or if we had everything prepared in advance. Okay, so those were our general options. And then before we go ahead and mess with our header and footer here and our sidebar, let's go ahead and change the typography and colors first. So we have some color palettes here. These are the stock ones that you can choose from. We can go with green here. And it actually looks pretty cool, especially with the back glow. I think I'll keep that. And you can always change all of the text colors and fonts. The links, we can make them blue and purple. We can, when we select our text, that actually looks pretty good. And we can change the heading colors and so on. So those are your colors. Next, we have typography. So we have the default font, but we can scroll down here and there are a bunch of options with Because this is a Google font, we'd have to we can use a Google Fonts plugin, but it's all right if we choose it from here. No need to worry about it. And we have that as our font. Next, we have our headings, and then we can change our headings to, let's choose something that's a serif font, that's for Georgia, and you can see that it changes right away. And you can change everything from buttons. So the buttons one, we can probably choose, let's look for something that's visibly different, or some cursive looking. Oh, so it's definitely unreadable. Okay, then you will choose protest right for our buttons, and you can see that they look very different. And we have headings and captions and so on. And then this one here, we have sans serif if the font isn't available for whatever reason. So there's how you change your fonts. You can also change how large they are, the line height, letter spacing, if they're all caps or not. Okay, and that's for headings. So there's your general settings for the website, how it's going to be laid out. You have your colors and typography. Now we can go ahead and change our headers and footers. Okay, so first let's work with the header, and then we'll work with our footer. So with our header here, we want to change our logo to our logo. So we'll go here, we'll click on header, we'll click on logo, and then we'll click on this pencil icon on this logo over here. And we'll scroll down in our library and then find one of our logos. And you can see that it should change. And now we can also change the size of our logo. You can also change the sticky state. So if we had a sticky header, it would shrink. We can also enable or disable our site title and our site tagline. And we can also change how it's aligned. So we want it center aligned right there. Okay, that looks pretty good. And next, we can also change the design. So we have our default colors here. We can have it black and it turns fuchsia. We can have it black and it turns red when you hover over it. And when it's sticky, if it comes down, it's gonna have a different color. And we can also change the fonts of our site title and site tagline. Okay, there you go. And we can also adjust the margin %. And you can put this as 5, and you can see that it changes up the spacing. Okay, and then you can offset it any which way you want. So there's our logo. The socials, that's fine. The button, we can change where it links to. We can change from submit recipe. Subscribe, and then we can insert our URL. Okay, and just like that, we can also choose to open a new tab, and we can change the icon to YouTube. It should appear on the side right there, and we can make the icon bigger or smaller. Okay, and we can also change the design to make it red like yellow to make it like a subscribe button, but it's a bit hard to read. We can also change the font color and stuff later on, but let's make it red so it's easier to read. And this should take us to our YouTube channel, and we can make it yellow, old school. Okay, and you can also change the label font, but that's just fine. Next, we can change our menu, and the logo, you can also put it on the top here. Just drag and drop it, just standard fare stuff. And you can see once it reloads, this should appear up on the upper left side. If it finishes reloading, there you go. But we're fine with having it just on the middle. Okay, and then we have our search bar here, which we can customize as well. But more importantly, let's go ahead and change up our menu. So our menu here, we can't change from our editor here, our block editor within Blocksy, what they say. So we can choose a bunch of menus here, or if we want to just change one item here, we can go on our menu screen, here, which is underneath which is within our dashboard, and we'll have our menu here, and you can choose the page. Oops. And we can set it up from here, and we'll go about that. Okay, and here I managed to select main menu, and we have recipes here, and it's our post page. And if we clicked on this to configure it, we can call this blog, even if the original page is recipes. So we'll save this, and you can drag and drop any of these to change their position here on the menu. But we'll call this blog right now, and we'll go ahead and move over to our recipes page. And or we can go to our pages here under the pages tab and go to recipes if it appears there. Okay, and we can edit it and just rename it as blog, because this is our archive right here. So in order to customize it, let's go ahead and click it, customize it as archive, or yeah, and update it, and it should be fine. And once that's good, we can go back and configure our menu over here. So once we have our page and our menu set up, we can refresh this, and it should reflect here. Rather than recipes, it should say blog or blog archive, depending on what this one would take. So let's wait for it to load up. And our changes have reflected, and you can see that it says blog here because we named it blog on our menu, but the actual page is actually called the blog archive. Okay. And from here, with a menu, we can select a bunch of different styles for the highlights. This one looks fine, and you can change the design for what colors there are, and you're free to do so. We can also change the spacing and the inner spacing for each one, and then the item height. That looks good to me. Okay, and there's a bunch of other options here, like effects and spacing, and so on. But you'll just have to customize those according to your needs. Okay, so that's our header, and we can drag and drop these wherever we please. Now let's move over to our footer, and you can see that it's pretty damn dark over here. And you can see that we have the background color here. Let's change it to this light blue-gray, just so it's easier to see. And we can choose to make it boxed or default, which is, by default, it's full width. And again, we can change our widgets here or add new ones, add paragraphs, buttons, quotes. But with this, we can always insert, or let's say for this one, we don't really need it, so we can delete that. And then for our copyright down here, we can also delete that if we didn't need that for whatever reason. And then widget area 4, if we didn't want to have these buttons over here, we can just remove these and return, and you can see that they vanished. So editing the footer is basically the same as editing the header. Okay, so at the moment we've set up basically our global options, general options, and so on how our website works. How about the appearances of our blog archive? So over here, blog posts, and our actual blogs themselves, our blog posts themselves. So this is our archive, and you can see right here we have the grid selected, but we can choose from a bunch of different layouts. Blocksy calls them block structure, and we have simple, we have classic, which has the large featured image, we have grid, which we used a while ago, we have enhanced grid, okay, and you can see that the layouts varied, and we have Gutenberg. Okay, I think the enhanced grid looks pretty cool, so we'll use that. and we can choose to show how many pages or posts we have on display here. Probably put it to 4. Probably 6 maybe, might be a good idea. And that's fine. And we have card options. We can choose to enable or disable the featured image, or remove the meta, or hide it. Okay, and we have our blog posts here just so they stay evergreen. Okay, and then we can also change the font sizes, font colors, and font types. Next, we can also change vertical spacing of our content. We can also enable or disable our sidebar from here if we wanted to have our sidebar there. Okay, but just to keep things simple, we're going to worry only about our blog, our blog layout and our blog posts themselves. So let's go back to this Croatian one real quick, and then we can go to single post. And you can see that we have here our excerpt, our title, our meta, and our content. Now you can see that there are a few layouts here. Narrow width, normal width. We can toggle our left sidebar on and off, as well as our right sidebar, but I think we'll go with narrow width. Okay, and then for design, real quick, we want to make it white just so it's easier to use, easier to read, and you can see it's fine. And these are all caps because that's basically how we set up our font for our body text. Okay, and then we can also enable or disable the featured image. So if we had a featured image, we can enable that, and it should appear here. We have our post tags enabled. They should appear either up there or somewhere down here. There you go. And so on and so forth. Next, we can also enable or disable our comments and our subscribe form over here. Okay, and basically that's how you set up your blog post appearance layout on Blocksy. Next, you also have categories. So if we had a category for this, or it should be under travel, I believe. We can also set up how our, there, under travel. We also have the option under this category, which is named travel, to change up how the layout looks like. And that's a very powerful tool. And at the same time, you can also change the background to something a bit more light, just to make it a bit more readable. Okay, so there you have how to make a blog website using Blocksy and the companion plugin Starter Sites. So we've learned how to make a website and change up the layout. Next, what we want to do is, once we figured out how to make our layouts for our blog posts, we want to know how to edit our homepage and our other pages here. So let's do that now. Once we're content with how our website looks like, let's hit publish. And we can go ahead and refresh this and then see how different it becomes. And after we figure out how to change our content on the pages themselves, we're going to go ahead and make a brand new blog post for your brand new blog. So we'll wait for this to load. And it's finished uploading. Let's refresh our website real quick, and you can see that our website has changed. We have brand new fonts, we have a brand new logo, we have brand new buttons, and we have brand new layouts. But you can see here that it still says recipe of the day, tasty fluffy pancakes, cook now, explore recipes. So how do we get rid of this? This isn't part of the global options. This is a separate page. This is your home page, and it just gets the elements from your blog and other content areas. Okay, so in order to remove this, in order to change it to your own stuff, let's click on Edit Page here, or we can go to our dashboard, and click on Pages, and look for your home or front page. Usually this gray part tells us that it's set within our theme, and we have our post page and our front page here, and we can click on edit and it should take you to here. Okay, so let's figure out how to change this. We're here in the block editor. we can go ahead and just click on this article. Article of the day. And that's what's so nice about using starter sites, is that it gives you everything laid out, and all you have to do is just click and just change up the text. Right, and then we can change the names, we can remove, we can change image sizes if it would permit us. Oops. We can change image sizes if it would permit us to click on them. Oh no, it really wouldn't, even if you zoomed in. Okay. So let's click on that. Okay, and it disappears. 5 mins. And we can reset this, and you can just remove all the names by website. Oh. Okay, and then we can change the font. And we can change up our image here, so we can just click on replace and just go with one of our default classroom ones here. And there you go, it should change. Oh, there you go. And we can change the layouts and the columns and the spacing and the gaps and the widths. And you can see it changes. And everything here basically is editable with typography. So you can justify it left, right, center, right, and then we can have the block spacing with the paddings and borders, right? And we have advanced features here like custom attributes, positions, opacities, HTML tags, anchors. We have effects here, but you have to pay for those. And we have styles, we have backgrounds and sizes and colors and typography and so on and so forth. If you want to change the buttons, just click on them, and all of the options appear here. And we have links and URLs and whatnot. Okay. Next, for everything else, basically, you just have to just click on them and change them. Or if you really didn't care for categories or pages, you can just remove them. You can just delete all of these blocks if you wanted to. Oops. You can delete these blocks if you wanted to. And oh, there you go. I believe we have to click unlock. And then we can delete them as you please. So if you wanted to add something else, we could just go into our block inserter, and there's a bunch here that come with Blocksy. But for instance, if you wanted to insert another image or a container, you could do so here. And let's say I wanted to, underneath here, I wanted to add an advanced search bar. I just drag and drop it there, and it should appear. And let's have another example, such as let's use this call to action here as a good demonstration. And pardon my computer as it's a bit slow. And we have a call to action here, and we can just use these default ones. And there is our generic call to action, and you can always drag and drop it and move it up and down as you please, as these are block elements. So once we're done editing our page here, we can click on update, and we can go ahead and view our live site. Okay, once that's done, let's view our page here. It's going to be our home page, of course, and you can see that everything we've changed, like the images and stuff, are all here, and the other things that we've added are here as well. Okay, as well as the things that we have deleted. Now, your blog needs blog posts. So let's learn how to add blog posts. Now, you won't be doing it here. We're going to go over to our dashboard here. Okay, and then on the left sidebar, you click on Posts, and we'll click on Add New Post. Now, that's going to take us to our main, our block editor here, and now we can make a brand new post. Okay, so for instance, we're going to make an article about latest power bank trends. Okay, that's going to be the name of our article. We're going to go ahead and paste in our paragraphs, and each paragraph will automatically become its own block. And you can see here that you can click on these arrows and then move our concepts up and down as we please. Okay, and it doesn't really matter because we're only here to make an example site. So let's click on a container or wrapper. Okay, and we can insert, or if we have a gallery here, an image gallery, we can drag and drop that here. And we can use images that we've uploaded from before, and we should have some here that are power banks. Insert gallery, and now we have our images here. Okay, and then you're always free to change it up however you please. So we'll put this up here, and this one we can probably delete, and we can change the spacing, and we can also drag and drop them over here. Okay, and then these two, we can probably put them here in the middle, and we're just laying them out over here. And we can always crop our images, make them smaller or larger. So there are, so that's how you add your content to your blog post. Now, before we publish it, you got to make sure that you have your categories. Right, add new category, tags, power bank. Okay. And we can have a featured image, an excerpt and stuff. Our featured image is probably going to be, probably this one. We can set that as our featured image, and we can probably remove this one here. Okay, and that's going to look good for us. All right, and then we have an excerpt, which you can probably just copy paste this. Oops. And it's totally optional. We have our summary, and there we go. So we can also customize our text color, our fonts, and so on. We'll just keep it on default. We can also change the background color to be default, a different one for each block, depending if you wanted to have certain ideas conveyed, of course. So once we're happy with our blog post or article, let's click Publish. And let's wait for it to upload. And once it's uploaded, let's head over to our homepage. And we have our homepage here, and we have our latest blog post here. Let's head over to our blog archive and see that we have our latest post here as well. Of course, it's in the blog archive. And we can click on it, and we can see our blog post has been uploaded and is ready to view. So we have our comments here, we have our tags, we have our content, and if we scroll up to the very top, we have our excerpt, we have our tags here, our categories, our title, and our meta here. There's how you make a blog post using Blocksy, a blog website, excuse me, using Blocksy. So if you found this video helpful, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to our channel, as it really helps us out with the YouTube algorithm. Show this kind of video to other nerds like us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.